My name is Peter, and this is Coordinate Challenge, where you decide my next destination in the Norwegian wilderness. I'll be going off trail and will have to rely on my own navigational skills in order to overcome natural obstacles and reach my target. On the way to these coordinates, I'll be filming myself to document my adventures. In this episode of Coordinate Challenge, I'll be heading into the mountains, where I'll find my target just behind a mountain peak. I will start at the Espedalen mountain hotel, where I'll park my car, after which I'll make my way through the last bit of forest before reaching the tree line. Once I reach this point, I'll find myself in high mountain terrain all the way up to the target. Seeing as it's already winter, my biggest concerns are to keep myself warm in below zero temperatures and make the most of the few hours of daylight that I'll have. I will also need to be prepared for the rapidly changing mountain weather, and snow could be a real possibility. After I've reached my target, I will have to backtrack in order to get out of this inhospitable environment and get back to the starting point. Once again, I'll be using a compass and a small section of a topographical map of the area to navigate, and I will use my GPS watch to make sure that I've arrived at my target. On this trip, I'll once again be bringing my day pack with about the same equipment as before, but seeing as I'll be going into the mountains in winter time, I'll also be bringing some stuff to keep myself extra warm. I'll be wearing my skiing trousers and I'll be wearing thermals as well. In addition to that, I'll be bringing my little shovel sled, which I can use to accelerate my descent down the mountain, and of course this time I won't be bringing any sandals.
I've arrived at the starting point, and as you can see, everything's covered in snow, so I'd best get moving to warm myself up. The surroundings are really stunning. If you look over there, this is the contrast. The water's just nice and blue. I mean, everything just covered in snow. It's like a winter wonderland, isn't it? It's very important that in conditions like these that you move at a nice pace to keep yourself warm, but not at such a pace that you start sweating, because as soon as you'll rest, your sweat will cool down rapidly because of below zero temperatures, and you'll start to feel cold very fast, and that'll take a lot more energy to warm you up. I seem to have found something that looks like some kind of wool. It's probably from one of the neighbouring farmsteads or cabins. That's quite interesting. I don't think it'll keep out a lot though. Most animals are just able to climb over it, especially at this part. I find this snowed over track, which corresponds to this track on the map. So that means I'm right on track. From there on I have to go east, because I plan on going up here and around this mountain over here, and then go up this mountain crest up to the target over here. So from here on I have to keep on going east. The sun's just broken through the clouds, and I've had my first view of the mountain. But just look at this. The sunlight illuminating the snow just makes it seem like there's loads of pearls just hidden inside the snow. Absolutely stunning. I've arrived at the clearing where I've got a great view of the surrounding area, and I can see now exactly in which direction I have to go. If you see that small crest over there, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to use that to get up the mountain and then get to my target, which lies further behind it. So, let's go. I'm only surrounded by birch trees right now, which means that I'm very close to the tree line. So I think within 10 minutes or so I'll be out in the open, and from there on I'll no longer have any natural means of shelter that keep me safe from the wind. But it's not too windy today, so I have to keep on going while while the situation's still favourable to me. I'm just above the tree line right now, which took me a bit longer than expected, because the snow over here in the open is quite a bit deeper. So that's been slowing my progress a bit, but I'll soon be at the crest, and from there on it'll be relatively snow free all the way up to that outcropping. Seeing as I'm above the tree line right now, I've got no more means of natural shelter like trees. So if I stop over, I shouldn't stop over for too long, or at least find shelter behind some rocks so I don't cool down too much. I've arrived at the bottom of the crest, which isn't covered in snow too much, so that means I can pick up the pace and quickly get to that rocky outcropping over there. Once I get there, it'll mean that I've already done most of the climbing, so that'll be a good place to have lunch. I'm walking on this crest, so I really have to watch out, because if I take one wrong step and if I slip, I'll fall all the way down, which is not something I'd like to do. So I'm just gonna stick to the middle of the crest, so if I slide, that I still have quite a nice margin of error. For a short while now, I've been spotting these footsteps, so there's probably more animals on the mountain. It doesn't seem like it's a dog, because I don't see any footsteps of an owner anywhere, and well, Norway doesn't really have any wild dogs, so it might be a Norwegian forest cat or something like that. It'd be cool if I could spot one. I've arrived at rocky outcropping, which means I'm well over halfway now, so that's the perfect time to have lunch, and especially with a view like this, it's not a bad place to recharge the battery. It's a lot windier up here, so I definitely don't want to stop over for too long, so I'll just be having some crackers and some tomato soup, and with the remainder of the hot water I'll make myself a nice brew to just get nice and warm up here. I can really feel that I've cooled down a lot, so it's time to get going again and properly warm up. I'm just nibbling a nice little snack. I decided to put on my hat because it's a lot windier up here and my ears are just getting really cold. I finally warmed up a bit again. It got pretty bad just now because my left nostril froze over as well, but I managed to switch to my smaller gloves. I'll keep my hat on. Thankfully the wind's gone down, but it might pick up again. Look over there, I can see the mountaintop that I have to get to. So first I have to get down, and then I can go up again. And once I'm at the top, I'm very close to the target. So let's get going. Looks like there's a small lake over there. That means I've got to watch out, because I don't know if the ice is thick enough to carry my weight. Most likely it is. It has been below -10 for quite a few days now, but I don't want to risk it, especially not up here where I'll cool down way too fast. So I've reached the top. See here, the last few meters. As you can see, I've got a great 360 view over here. Over there, you've got Espedalen, which means the moon of heaven. Obviously, it's because it rises out of this case like that. From here on, I'll have to go east, because I'll probably find my target over there. I'll double check with my watch. I've reached my target. Look at the view I've got over here. Espedalen moon over there. Alpine over there. Mountain over there. And I can see all the way up to London as well. But nightfall is only 1.5 hours away, so I'd best make my way down the mountain, because I don't want to the mountain in the dark. back at that mountaintop where I was at before, and I find out that my water supply is frozen. So the only water I've got left is what's left in my thermos, which isn't an awful lot, so that adds an extra sense of urgency for me to get down the mountain. So that's where my little shovel sled will come in handy, because it's only downhill from now, so this is where the fun starts. There's one thing that I've got to watch out for when sledding down the mountain, and that's that some of the slopes have quite a few rocks protruding from them, so I don't want to break anything by sledding into those. So I'm only gonna sled on the places that don't have too many rocks, and for now it doesn't quite look like that because there's quite a few rocks over here. So the anticipation intensifies. I haven't found any good places to slide down yet because the snow is just downright too powdery, and I can really feel the rocks protruding through the snow through my little shovel sled. It's not that cold right now, at least while it is cold, it doesn't feel that way. But I know that it's cold because there's still quite a decent formation of ice crystals in my nostrils. So I know that if I stop now, that I'll cool down very rapidly. So I have to keep on going. I have to say, every time I reach a target, it just feels like a huge load just falls on my shoulders, which is most likely because when I'm closing in on the target, I'm creating more distance between me and the safety of the starting point. So if something happens, I'll have to backtrack even more, which might be difficult if I'm injured or something. But as soon as I've just reached the target, I know that I'll only be going back, and I'll be closing in on safety again, which is such a great feeling, and reaching the target also just raises my spirits by such a huge amount that doing these kind of things makes it worthwhile. And I think that's what it truly means to live life to the fullest, by experiencing both sides of the spectrum of life. I'm right back at the top of the crest, and I still haven't found a good place to just slide down, but most likely this will be my chance, because the slope over here is quite a bit steeper, so that means the depth of the snow is not going to be that much of a problem. So this is what I've been waiting for. Well, I sure got back down to the tree line fast this way, but at a cost. My trousers are completely filled with snow, but was it worth it? Yeah. You win some, you lose some. Sun's just dipped behind those mountains over there, and it'll be half an hour more before it's completely down. So I got to keep a good pace if I want to be back before dark. Walking in the forest in winter time is really cool. Normally you don't really notice any wildlife around you, but now you see all these footprints, and the small ones, big ones as well. I think I just saw another moose as well. So it's quite interesting that way you see wildlife without actually seeing it. Well, Murphy's Law sure is strong during this last part of the trip. I managed to hit the same toe 3 times on a rock, and that toe was already hurt before, so at the moment it's quite busted. But I managed to make it back to the car before nightfall, so that means another successful challenge. So see you next time.
All that remains for me to say now is I'll be looking forward to your coordinate suggestions in the comments below, and to subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Twitter, where I'll be posting sneak peek pictures of the adventures you'll be sending me on. Any tips or good advice is also more than welcome.
Even part of the inside of my jacket got frozen. Look at this. It's wild cold.